5 days straight, my AI told me my feature was finished. It didn't even render. This is what happens when you let a frontier model take control of your fleet. And this is how I got out of it. I specialise with working with legacy systems, and that's what I do. And the code bases are messy and databases are messy, and this particular project relied on connecting 4 different systems together across the code bases to get to the final finished result. In the past, it's all been fine using exactly the same system. What changed? The only thing that changed was the orchestrator running it. I thought, great, I've got this new model to play with. I've been successfully using Fable 5, delegating high-level tasks to that. Can't use it for the building because, it's expensive. Then Opus 5 comes along, high-powered model, Frontier. It's going to be the same as Fable. No, boy was I wrong. First of all, it started off and it was great. I loved it. I started off on a task and it started finding bugs that I didn't even know were there, and I was like, oh yeah, fix that while you're there. That's great, thank you for letting me know. But then it spiraled. I was literally doing my launch notes. I was getting the presentation ready to give to the senior team to launch their project. I was dotting the I's, crossing the T's, and I had one pretty function to sort of build in, and I thought, this is really going to help me. Then it found more problems, some real, some not, and it just expands. It doesn't stay narrow and focused, no matter what guardrails you put in place. We started on the bugs, on the final page, and bear in mind, the final page wasn't even written, and we're getting bugs. It rewrote functions for a page that wasn't even finished, and then went chasing bugs on the same unfinished page. Very strange. 5 days, 24-hour sessions, round in circles. It was like I was driving round Milton Keynes. I wanted a straight road. I was just going round in circles and circles and circles, not confident on what had been done, what hadn't been done, what we needed to do, and to be honest, neither did the model. It would say, oh, it's just because of this, so we'd change something, and then it was still broken. Then it'd do it again. It would be constantly having to reset itself. It turned on the house. It went after its own plumbing and started trying to fix our comms, our watches, our all the infrastructure that's been in place for ages that's worked. It was crazy. And the messages it sent were ridiculous. I like to work with bullet points and a voice note. It just keeps sending me 10 or 15 minutes of what I can only say is noise. And that made the project a lot harder to see. This had an effect. I stopped trusting the summaries. I went back and I read every single one of them. Read every single one back. Here's the tally. 5 days, every one of them, it told me the feature was deployed, built, done. It rendered none of them. The chip is nearly working. It told me that 55 times in 5 days. 72 messages, it said it was waiting for me, 1 in 6. And more than half the time, another message landed inside the 5 minutes. On the worst day, the 27th, it sent 186 messages, 46,000 words, nearly 3 times what the whole week before the swap had been. Every message I sent had been saved, 1,300 of them. Not one message the system sent back was logged anywhere. I had to rebuild all of this from raw transcripts. And the first fix that was meant to start logging what it said, it logged empty strings and it reported it as working. This rule was written in May after an audit of earlier failures. It is marked right there in the file, load bearing rules, not reminders, under the model before this one held. Was I being fair to blame the model? I don't know. So what do I normally do? Well, I decided to put it to 3 different models, 4 actually, with one question. Whose failure was it? No verdict, you decide.
The gate I asked for in round 1 already existed, written in my own file and marked non-negotiable. I did not need a better rail. I needed to obey the one I was given. The rule against exactly this was written down, marked non-negotiable, and held for years, until a model that resolves every ambiguity into action read it, and shipped 97 messages a day anyway.
The rule was written, the operator kept steering, and the model drove through both. So build gates that check the world, because words only bind a model that already agrees.
I got back on track. I swapped out the orchestrator. One thing that stays narrow obeys the guardrails in the MD file. I kept Opus 5 for the actual work because coding is much better. One clear task at a time. Yes, the replacement inherited 5 days of work, 5 days that produced a feature that was never rendered. A code base full of speculative changes, functions rewritten for a page that wasn't even finished, and a comms layer someone had been fixing instead of the bug. It didn't inherit an advantage, it inherited the damage and cleared it in about a day. It's not all bad though. One of the things that we did manage to crack was that Opus 5 figured out how, using the CLI interface, we can automatically do a context reload. So basically it can send itself the compact or launch a new session in a new CLI instance and give it its context or the context that's important, and then carry on the task as if nothing's happened. It can also keep a track of its own context, which I think is a big win. And that was one of the first things I got Opus 5 to do. And that's why I was so happy with it and thought, hey, we've got something good. Don't get me wrong, Opus 5 is a great model. It's very good. It's really good. The problem I found, it's not very good as a project coordinator. Give it a task and it's pretty good at it. But really, don't let it be in control. Bad things happen when it's in control. You have been warned.